Hello, my friends, and welcome to the latest spin. I'm Mike Spinner, Student Athlete World USA, coming at you on another amazing Thursday. As at least in the Northeast, we have so quickly transferred from summer to winter, makes you wonder if the fall even took place. It's like 30 degrees outside where I live tonight. It's cold. And for any hockey dads who are watching, you would think the rink is always just cold because there's ice, but there's different levels of rink cold. So tonight was like, for me at least, the first night where it was like, my God, can we just end practice because it's just cold. Normally it's manageable. Tonight was like, wow, cold. So, but I got one of those electric jackets where like you have the red light up here. That really helps if you live in a cold area. And I think it's called like Orono or something, the company that makes like the best one. I should know this because I own one. Um, it really works. Like it really keeps you warm. You got the vests and the coats, and you just got to make sure you keep the battery charged. But there's a good invention right there. They should probably be a sponsor of the latest spin, or what in the world? Maybe next week. But on the business, a couple things. Number one, I'm going to start off this week where I finished last week. I have to say, I think I finally broke Tim with the Wisconsin football quips that have been going on for the better part of 3.5 years. Because last week, if you watched the video, I what in the world was dedicated to Wisconsin football and their decision in their infinite wisdom to bring back Luke Fickell or Fickel, however you pronounce his name, to coach again next season, despite this season not exactly being what one would call successful. I went on a little bit of a Wisconsin football rant, and it took Tim a little while to watch the video, and I think I struck a nerve because there were a series of text messages about the greatness that is known as Wisconsin football that I have been overlooking. So to Tim, I'm what we call a wise insert expletive here. I enjoy getting a rise out of others from time to time when the mood strikes, and I think I finally pushed him past that reasonable point that an employee should push a boss. So, Tim, I'm going to lay off of Wisconsin football for a while, well, at least for this week. And yeah, so that happened, and business with Student Athlete World. If you've been paying attention to our social media, not only are we steamrolling through so many interviews that my voice is literally hoarse, but people are depositing. We're announcing new travelers left and right. It is truly the most wonderful time of year as we see our tours filling. It's just exciting. Like I think that feeling you get when you have a good enough interview that you can offer a spot on a tour during an interview. And we don't get that all the time. All right. So for those of you who are waiting your interviews, we don't always get to do that. But when you have a good enough interview to say at the end, we're not going to, put you through the full process. We're just going to offer you a spot right now. When I get those interviews, there's still a feeling of satisfaction that even this being my fourth year is still one of my favorite parts of the job that is not traveling. And so we've had a handful of those already this week. And it's only Thursday. And I have like 4 interviews coming tomorrow and a bunch on Sunday. So that's just my favorite feeling in the world. Like, this family's so great. I'm not gonna even wait. I'm just gonna offer them right now. And we've had several of those this week, and we've had more this year than probably any other year since I've joined the company. So it's awesome. So great interviews, and the deposits are coming in, the announcements are going out, tours are filling. Just great to be us. And so for tour of the week this week, as I've been saying, we're going to go through the different tours that we offer with some detail. And so first week I did it was Costa Rica. And then last week it was Pyrenees Basket Cup. And this week, I'm going to talk all about our Spain and Portugal tour, and which I've done twice. And I got to tell you, if you have never visited Europe before and you're a basketball or a lacrosse player, or you've never visited the Iberian Peninsula, which is Spain and Portugal, this is the tour for you. I love this tour, again, having done it twice. And I love it because of the balance. And I just think that the opportunity to see two amazing but very culturally distinct countries like Spain and Portugal, and visit a major city in each country, which we do. We go to Seville in Spain and Lisbon in Portugal. And then the opportunity to really diversify your palate when it comes to food that is offered. And then on top of all that, whether you're a lacrosse player or a basketball player, compete in a truly competitive, grinding, fun, intense international tournament. It really is an amazing way to introduce yourself to world travel. I absolutely love this tour for both sports. If you're in a position where it's like, well, I know I want to do this, but I don't know what tour, I give this particular tour a 10 out of 10. And it's not to say other tours I give a much lower score to. The other tours I've done, I feel almost the same way. But I look at Spain and Portugal as being that perfect tour for a newcomer to either world travel or to Europe, just because of just the balance. We stay by the beach, both hotels. We visit, again, two great major cities. And then there's some smaller excursions as well. There's a zip line. We got on a zip line in Spain, you zip into Portugal, and while you're on the zip line, you change time zones. It's the only experience of its kind on the planet. So there's so much to that tour. So if you're in a position where it's like, I don't know what tour I want to do, but I really haven't traveled much, I strongly suggest Spain and Portugal for either basketball or lacrosse. Wonderful people, wonderful tour. I would gladly go back. If Tim said, hey, this summer we're going to send you to Spain and Portugal for 3 weeks, you're going to do both basketball and lacrosse, which I've done before, I would be so happy about that. So, that is our tour of the week this week. And we have 10 tours this year. So I get to go, I got like 7 more weeks to go. Oh, do I hate that? But I'm not going to get into that now. So now, what in the world? So today's What in the World is brought to you by the world. Okay. No, I'm just kidding. I'll make that the What in the World. Today's What in the World is brought to you by Wendy's. And I thought of this tonight because Wendy's has announced that they're closing a bunch of stores. And they're kind of downsizing Wendy's, which is a pretty bold statement. When you think about it, like last week, I talked about how Outback Steakhouse is downsizing and closing stores. And now Wendy's this week announced the same. And it's almost like the chain food industry is under duress. Not just Wendy's and Outback Steakhouse. And I thought about this. So like Outback Steakhouse is closing a bunch of stores. Wendy's is doing the same. You have to imagine that there are others kind of on this path. And here's the truth of it. Like, think about it. If you're watching this and you eat fast food, even on the rare occasion, when is the last time a major fast food chain came up with something really good that's new? Whether it's Outback Steakhouse or Wendy's or McDonald's or anywhere else. And that's why I think these places are starting to close down. Because I like Wendy's. I happen to think of Wendy's as the upper echelon of fast food. Just my own opinion. Okay. I happen to think their hamburgers are better than most. I like their food. But Wendy's, if you think about their chief marketing scheme in recent times, it's been that it's always fresh, never frozen. Great. I'd rather have a frozen product that tastes really good than a fresh product that tastes average. So that whole marketing campaign maybe, hit a few people the right way, but it's not like, oh, I can only choose Wendy's because their meat's fresh and never frozen. Great, wonderful, it's fresh. Come up with something new. And they tried some gimmicks over years, like the Baconator, which is like a cheeseburger with a lot of bacon, and nothing wrong with that. I don't think there's anything out there that's too much bacon, but but it's like, think about all the fast food places, even like Chick-fil-A. So if you're from the Southeast, Chick-fil-A has been around forever. Where I'm from in the Northeast, Chick-fil-A is a relatively new phenomenon. For the longest time, if I didn't visit like the Southeast, I didn't eat Chick-fil-A. So when it started to expand to the Northeast, I was like, cool, this is going to be great. I can't remember the last time I ate at a Chick-fil-A. And the same with Wendy's. Like what fast food did in the 80s, let's say, when I was a kid, there was always something like really new and really exciting, even if it was something that wasn't that great. So McRib is an example. And I believe I've read that McRib is coming back soon nationwide, which means McDonald's sales must be down. When I was a kid, 80s, late 80s, and the McRib first came on the scene, you had to eat it. Like you couldn't miss McRib. It was the greatest thing ever. Then it went away and it keeps coming back. There's apparently a McRib Finder app because it's always appearing somewhere. But the nationwide rollout of McRib is very rare. It happens, years apart. But like when I was a kid, it was awesome. And I remember the last time they brought it back a few years ago, I remember thinking to myself, I envisioned this is what an earlobe would taste like if I were to eat one. It's really not that good. And it's old. When I was a kid, I would go for McRibs as often as I could. Now it's like, not rushing out for McRib. So Wendy's, which used to have a lot of cool items on the menu. I think they used to have baked potatoes. I don't think they do that anymore. They had chili. That was pretty good. I don't even know if they do that anymore. But it's like, there's that whole saying like innovate or die. And I feel like the chain food industry as a whole, A, is getting more expensive. So it's not like fast food's a bargain anymore. And B, it's just the same old stuff. And, you see like newer things at times, but not good enough. And that's why Wendy's, now Outback Steakhouse, and others are disappearing. So that's not what in the world this week. It's just as a sponsor, Wendy's, I'm trying to help you out by sending more business your way. So welcome aboard as a sponsor. A little too much of a rant there. But what in the world this week goes out to our whole planet? Because I have to say, like, I try to stay away from paying attention to the news for my own sanity, because I don't believe the news intentionally lies to us. I believe that what we see on the news is broadcast or printed or streamed in a manner that's going to make us want to watch. So they're not thinking, let's talk about what's happening in the world. They're thinking, what's going to get the most amount of people to view us? And so as a result, the scare tactic feature of the news is now at an infernal level, a wildfire. And I don't know about you, but right now, I feel like the news is worse on a daily basis right now than it was in like March and April of 2020 when the COVID pandemic first shut the world down. Okay, there's so much bad stuff happening. The government shut down, and now leaked emails and scandals and the economy and tariffs, and no matter what side of the aisle you're on, like, why can't we focus on the positive for a change? I saw a great meme today. It was at the top, it said, while the world is burning down. And then there's a picture of Will Ferrell screaming. And I can't say what was in like the text bubble, but it was blank the Islanders, the New York Islanders. And as a Rangers fan, I'm like, this is a great meme. But it's like, that is how I personally feel about the world right now. Like, the world seems to be burning down. You cannot turn on any news network, regardless of your political views, and see good news. It's all awful right now. The world is falling apart. And here I am saying, the world is falling apart. The world is burning down. Let's go on a tour. Let's go see the world that's burning down. because like I just refuse to live in this negativity bubble that everything is just so awful in the world. So here's what I want to do. And if you're watching this, contact me, Mike at studentathleteworld.com. I want to start a podcast. I don't even know how. I'm sure it's easy. Just never looked into it before. But I want to start a podcast literally called like Daily Good News, like today's good news today, something like that, where for like 15 to 20 minutes a day, I'm going to podcast about something really good that happened in the world. Why? Because I want to be unique. And that's exactly how I feel. Like, show me the news service, the news vehicle, be it on TV, internet streaming, print, whatever it is, that reports the good stuff. Right now, it's like only ESPN because it's only sports. But I just can't help but wonder, what is it exactly we're doing right now as a world, as a people? Why can't we just like be happy and enjoy the good things in the world? And maybe my view is slanted because like, I'm not just saying this, I absolutely love my job and jobs. Okay. Because I work in the lacrosse industry, if you didn't know, and I coach and I'm part of a great lacrosse travel program. And I love my career and I have an amazing family. And so, yeah, I wish I made more money, Tim. But I just view my place in the world as being optimistic and happy and enjoyable. You know, sun rises in the morning and I look forward to the day ahead. And I just don't understand why the rest of the world doesn't feel that way anymore. You know, when's the last time you left the house feeling genuinely optimistic? And so what I'm saying is, what in the world, to everybody, we're so busy bringing each other down that I think we're forgetting that we have it pretty good right this minute. And if we forget how good we have it for too long, it is really going to get bad. And right now, if you turn on TV, we're already there. I just won't turn on TV. I was too busy watching Thursday Night Football. And that's it for the latest spin this week. As always, great fun. And as always, there is only one way to view the world as optimistically as I do. Go to studentathleteworld.com, complete your application, interview with me, pack your bags. I hope you all have a wonderful, optimistic, and happy week. We'll see you next week.